Well, we got to do the bumper first. Yeah, do the bumper first.
There is a bumper. You always did the bumper.
Just remove me from the feed. Kristen, Kyle, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having us. Come on.
Just wrapping up our trip, 3 days. And the big takeaway here is I never travel any place just to see one person. So when you sales guys are out there traveling, you need to then try and find 1 or 2 or 3 other people to see.
The commodity manager of Electrolux wanted me to text her. That was her preferred method of contact. She was getting 200 emails a day. She said, just text me. This was 5 years ago. I'm like, okay. Literally could get her every time.
What's up, guys? We're at MD&M Minneapolis show.
You're always going to remember that person that was different than everybody else. So let's talk standing out and being unique.
We're back with another episode. We've increased some of our production value, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Brett's got a question. How segmented do you make the emails every 2 to 4 weeks? Are you sending to the broad group of contacts or do you customize? I think that you could do it both ways, but I think in general, everybody needs to see your content. Everybody needs to see something that you're creating and something that you can provide value to.
You can tell a story a whole lot faster in a 3-minute video than you can in a 14-page article or 10 2-page articles.
Everything's about brand awareness and content right now, and it will continue to be that. So focus on producing some sort of content, and if you're selling B2B, which I'm assuming most people here are, focus on LinkedIn.
Number one, we do not charge for this stuff. I put all of my content out there for free. Send it to somebody that you feel may get some value out of it, and also engage. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. We'll get to all of the comments after the break. Those comments mean the world to us because it shows that you guys care. So don't just sit there and watch, but please engage and hit those thumbs on LinkedIn.
All right, guys, sorry for the delay. We're testing out some new things. As you can see, we got a new table. We got some new setups, some new camera angles, multiple cameras going on live on LinkedIn. I'm just watching the crew talk to each other. So apologize for being late, but this is what happens, right? Trying to do things, trying to bring more value, trying to bring more content, and run into some technical issues and make sure that we get everything going squared off correctly. So it is Monday. And for those of you that are new to following the show, Mondays is all about questions. So you've got some questions and I'm here to answer them. Questions are submitted by sending them to askkyle@mfgtribe.com. And then we pull them up on the screen, typically 3 to 4 on Mondays. Wednesday shows are about technical sales, industrial marketing, where we talk about a topic, still answering questions and comments that you guys bring in live. So if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section now. Share it with somebody that you know on LinkedIn. Show me some of those blue thumbs to make sure you guys are receiving this properly and that you guys can hear all the audio and the cool video we're about to show. So without further ado, Laura will jump on the screen in our new camera angle and ask the questions that have been submitted. Laura, what we got?
All right. Do technical sales engineers need to know about ERP and Six Sigma?
So know about ERP and Six Sigma. Well, that depends. If you're selling ERP systems and services, then yes, it would be helpful for you to know about it. But I feel like ERP systems and lean manufacturing is like, and Six Sigma is just, those are just buzzwords. So you don't really need to know about it if you aren't selling it. So I guess, I don't know what you're selling to know if you need to know that. But quick Google search, you know what lean manufacturing is. It's all about efficiency, throughput, things like that. ERP system, enterprise resource planning, right? Like, I don't know how much you need to know unless you're selling it. And even if you're still selling it, understand, like, I have this principle that technical sales is 80% about selling, 20% about technical. So even if you are selling it, you don't need to have all the answers to all the questions. You just need to be able to intelligently handle some questions. You should have an engineering team at your company that can handle all of the proper engineering questions, but you want to focus on asking the questions for the problem to provide them with a solution to that problem. So hopefully that answers the question. Next time, a little bit more specific would help.
All right, the next question. Do you see that once commission starts outperforming your base, companies withdraw the base?
Company withdraws your base and makes you 100% commission. That is something scary to get into. I don't think that any company should withdraw the base. I understand commission is the incentive, and I'm all for the commission side of it. Like, you have to, if you're in technical sales, you have to work with some sort of commission plan. Otherwise, there's really no incentive besides, I don't know, just keeping your job to keep on moving along. So there's got to be some sort of commission. But most companies that are hiring sales engineers are not going to then, once their commission is enough to supersede their base, then they just remove the base altogether. I feel like at a minimum, you need to at least get 30, 40, 50,000 a year in a base salary. As long as your commission, you can make 50 to 100, 150,000 a year, that's fine. But I would not work for a company unless, I know manufacturers reps do this a lot. Manufacturers rep companies will be like, hey, I'm gonna pay you 75,000 a year. And then once you start getting commission, eventually once your commission supersedes the 75,000 a year, then we'll just switch to commission only incentive for that person to build on it. But I think that's a slippery slope. I would not recommend going after a company that removes your base salary once your commission gets up there. Because to me, that's just them not wanting to pay you more money. All right, next question.
Did you guys have questions?
Comment section below so we can answer them.
All right. The next question is, what kind of content do you see the most engagement in currently?
The current most engaged content would be anything with, it depends. If you're a company still highlighting employees in a creative way on a company page, where you're putting faces and names behind the scenes and highlighting cool stuff that you guys do for culture, those posts get a lot of engagement on company pages. But I think overall, video is going to trump everything. Now, if you just look at it and say, what gets the most engagement on LinkedIn, videos that are gonna, or things that are gonna get the most engagement are typically like those cheesy motivational pieces or something that somebody else created and it was trending on Facebook or trending on Instagram, and then people are just grabbing that and posting it to LinkedIn. I wish that they didn't get much engagement because that person didn't create it. It's not their viewpoint or their thoughts. They're just stealing something that's typically trending and posting it out onto LinkedIn. And then there's people that like that. But I think that video posts are getting the most engagement right now, besides company culture. But you have to have a mix, and you really got to try it out because the algorithm is always changing, and what people's behavior is always changing. So videos may work this week, but maybe you see, like, if you do a 5-image carousel post showing something really cool that has a lot of creativity behind why you're posting that, it's not just 5 random pictures. If you see that, those posts start to get more trending, and let's say that for your specific company brand, those get the most engagement, then I would double down on that and do those once or twice a week. But video, short videos, native content, are always going to perform the best right now for LinkedIn, as long as they stay within the platform. So if you make a post going to a YouTube video, LinkedIn and all the social platforms want to try and keep the people in the platform. They don't want to send them outside of it. So uploading a native video is going to get more engagement than doing like a YouTube video link post. But until LinkedIn increases their bandwidth to be able to upload longer videos, you're still somewhat limited with file size and things like that on LinkedIn. But right now, videos are still going to be the most engaging thing, as long as they're authentic and creative.
All right. Next question is, what kind of content do you see a potential for in the future that maybe isn't being done right now?
So future content, I would say, is streaming live on LinkedIn. And people may be like, dude, are people already doing that? Yeah, but manufacturing companies, you technical salespeople and manufacturing companies, you're not doing it, right? You're not caught up to it. I think that that could be extremely powerful if you can put behind the scenes together for your potential customers and even people that work at the companies that you're trying to attract. I think that that is extremely powerful, whether it is a weekly show, whether it's just a Q&A session about a product that you have, a service that you have, whether it's troubleshooting something. Like going live on LinkedIn is going to continue to grow. And if you guys can put together something, even if it's super simple, this is something we're doing for our current clients, putting together something super simple, a marketing person, a salesperson that just wants to talk about a topic for 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and then field questions. This is what is going to be huge for the manufacturing industry, especially if you can go behind the scenes on the production floor. Now, some of you may be like, no, I can't go behind the scenes because of intellectual property, and I don't want to show, like, I've got non-competes in place. I don't want to show everything that I make. That's understandable. Just shoot in a location where you can see some things going on in the background, but people can't make out exactly what it is that you're trying to protect. But then doing it like live from the shop floor. We're gonna go live today at this machining center, and we're gonna answer questions about speeds and feeds. We're gonna answer questions about how to machine titanium, or we're gonna go into a material handling company and answer questions about how to properly dry this plastic live on the floor of one of our customers and set that up as an event. It's like the new webinar, right? Everybody used to do webinars before where they would email it out and like go into this Zoom meeting, enter your password, whatever it is, right? But these days you could just do a LinkedIn Live and then just send it out to everybody that follows you on LinkedIn, invite people through email, say I'm going live next Thursday at 10 o'clock, I'm gonna be live on the shop floor, and create a whole show around it. It's so easy to do. You could do it from your phone, maybe as long as you have an audio input to where you can get some sort of mic on yourself to where you're not using your phone's audio system, but you can do it pretty much from everywhere. It just has to be a third-party system, right? LinkedIn, you can't just go on live like we're on live right now on Instagram. You can't go live like how it is on Instagram and Facebook. You have to have a third party, so you can most likely log in from your phone. But I think that live for manufacturing companies is going to be huge. It's just going to be super slow to get there, but I would look for that being super popular in the next, I'd say, 2 years before most people say, yes, I need to pay attention to this. Let's try and do it. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick, short commercial break, and we'll be back in about 90 seconds to answer all of the live questions.
What's your advice to an engineer who's going to shift to industrial marketing, manufacturing, or industrial based? Consume as much of my content as possible about industrial marketing. I think that engineering, having a technical background is a good starting point to get really into anything in technical sales or industrial marketing. You may know the product, you may know the process that you do the best. You may be able to explain it, but can you explain it simplistically? Because LinkedIn advertising is so expensive, what percentage of your advertising budget do you think should be allocated to it versus Google Ads? It depends on what you're trying to go after. I would say if there is a decent amount of search volume behind it, you can go after the Google Ads to get those people searching. And I would test it out. Test it out for 30 days. Spend $1,000, spend $1,500 and see, are you getting actual qualified lead? What can my company do to grow from regional customers to a larger or national scale? You have to focus on marketing to those people and trying to connect with those people that are outside of that area and doing it on platforms that they live. You can connect with people on LinkedIn and work them through your pipeline where you're trying to provide as much value as possible, sending them messages saying, hey, here's some articles we wrote, here's a video we shot, thought you get some value.
All right, and we are back after that short break. Nick's counting down like I'm on TV. Love it. All right, any comments, Laura, before we close this show out?
Yeah, Jessica chimed in and sent the 100 emoji.
What's up, Jessica? 100% all the time. Let's go. Let's go.
I got a question from Gabriel Torres. Says, what would you recommend as the best CRP for industrial sales for a small company?
So by CRP, I'm assuming that you mean CRM, and I'd have to go with HubSpot is the best CRM system. If that's what you meant, Gabriel, then hopefully that answers it. But if it didn't, leave a comment section, we'll grab it and I'll clarify. But CRM systems, I would say HubSpot. It's super cheap to get started. You can get in for, like, depending on how many contacts you have, $50, $100 a month. You can get a couple licenses for that. I think that's the best way to go because it's the most organized and it can expand and elaborate as you guys get bigger and bigger, right? There's a million CRM systems out there, literally. Like I just heard a new one today on a call with a prospect called like Nutshell or something like that. Never heard of it before, but they all pale in comparison for the most part to HubSpot because you can then take it from a sales driven system for marketing and sales pipeline management and deal management. And then once you get big enough, integrate in the email marketing side to it and start doing email marketing, broadcast, automation, integrate forms onto your website, integrate meetings onto your website to where people can book time directly with you. So I think for the small price to get started with HubSpot, I think it's definitely worth it to use HubSpot over everybody else because it can grow. And you may think right now, like, no, I did a Google search and I'm going to use Pipedrive or one of these other places. But as you grow, you got to think to the future, right? You don't want to look at a short-term problem that you have and develop a short-term solution. You got to look to the future that you will get bigger as your company grows. That as long as you're putting in the work, you will grow. And you want to have everything in a centralized system to start so you can just start adding on systems and features into it as you guys continue to grow. So I would definitely say HubSpot should be the choice. And like I said, you can get into it for under a couple $100 a month.
Split screen.
We're split screen.
Jose says, how would you deal with quarter 1 to 3 having a commission cap? Any thoughts?
How would I deal with quarter 1 to 3 having a commission cap? The question I would ask is why? Like, why would you have a cap on commissions for quarters 1 through 3? I would assume that the reason why they're doing that is because they don't know how the year is going to play out possibly, and they don't want to be paying out commission before the year is over, and they realize maybe net over the year, they're not as profitable as they thought. But I think that that is absolutely ridiculous to cap commission over certain quarters, but leave the fourth quarter open. So if you're the person that put it in place, I would say remove it. If you have any authority to remove it, I would say remove it. That's ridiculous. If your company put it in place, I would ask a question as to why, and you'd be hard pressed to give me an answer that justifies why somebody should have their commission cap for 3 of the 4 quarters of the year. Now, if it's like we can't grow past a certain point, it's hindering our ability to provide the solution to our customers effectively, and we'd be late with orders and things like that. I get that. But if that's the case, don't cap commission. You can somewhat slow down the growth by maybe not having as many salespeople, but I would definitely run or yell and scream at the company that tries to put something like that in place, because there's no reason why you should ever cap commission based on quarter. That is ridiculous.
All right, no more questions in here as of right now, but Gabriel chimed in and said, thanks very much for answering his question.
You got it, Gabriel. So we're good? All right, that's it for the comments today, guys. As always, Mondays are Q&A, but we always really do Q&A, but Mondays are specifically for questions that were emailed into askkyle@mfgtribe.com. Wednesdays are about technical sales, industrial marketing, where we're going to pick up a topic, dive into it, field any questions or comments that guys have on that. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to it and turn on notifications. We have over 250 videos on the YouTube channel, as well as go over to Instagram, which we are streaming right now. Go over to Instagram and follow me at Kyle J. Milan, because we're going to do some behind the scenes stuff as we continue to build out this studio, build out this office space. Any sort of behind the scenes type of content will be coming from Instagram because that's just the easiest to do. So with that being said, guys, hope you have a good one, and we